So stick with me until the end. It will be a very short video, just like to briefly touch the changes. But the first one is what many of you have been actually asking in the comments under my other videos. And that is that from recently, like a day or two days ago, people outside of the Czech Republic cannot check the status of their application in the FRS system. And people ask me, why do you think it is, Jan? So here's my answer. There can be two possible explanations. One, that it's some kind of a bug that will be like fixed in the future and everything will be working perfectly. Or actually it can be like a very intentional thing from the Ministry of the Interior to do, because just one thing to tell you, the ministry has been issuing a magazine for foreigners, like sharing stories of foreigners, like successful stories of foreigners, and like giving you tips about how to get your visa right, all that. And they've been issuing this magazine, which is accessible at the Ministry of the Interior and elsewhere, for a couple years. The only problem there is that it's all in Czech. So a foreigner cannot effectively use it, read it, unless you have someone you can like cuddle in the evening who is Czech speaker and like he or she is willing to read like this magazine for you. You as a foreigner have no chance of getting any information out of that. And they've been doing it for years, and no one ever like thought about like, hey, maybe the people, like the foreigners we are writing this for, maybe they don't speak Czech. What about writing it in English? No one ever thought about that. So maybe this is also like intentional, like, okay, so let's create a system where foreigners who just applied for their visas can check their status. That's a great idea. And you know what? Let's make it even better. Let's make it accessible only to those who are already in the Czech Republic. Because the main complaint was that if you're outside of the Czech Republic, the website says that you have to be in the Czech Republic to be able to check the status, that you cannot check it outside of the Czech Republic. So, hard to say. We'll see in the following days if it will be fixed or not. But that actually leads me to one kind of a bigger topic or bigger thing I want to discuss here. And that's actually a good thing, which is something I find myself saying about the ministry pretty often in the recent weeks or months, and that's kind of weird. But I kind of like it because it seems that someone actually started thinking about things and started actually doing something that might make a good change. So what happened recently is that, for example, the trade license register, where you can check all the information about trade license holders, or the business register, where you can do the same about any businesses like companies, has been also changed recently, like either from January or even at the end of December. But the thing is, the very important thing is that they all look the same. They all have the same design, and that gives me the idea that they will start actually communicating, that maybe one company is taking care of that, and they will be actually like putting all into one bigger system. Because as of now, one of the main problems in the Czech Republic in general, in my opinion, is that every time any like ministry or any office wanted to get a new IT system, IT provider, they had to do like a public competition, and they usually choose the cheapest one because that's what the law requires. So basically it ended up in every authority having different IT system, using a different provider. Some of them honestly have been since like 1990s. Like I believe that the tax office, they use a system from 1990s. Like they still use just numbers and letters. There is no like graphics, there is no like any fancy functions. It's just like letters and numbers. And the systems usually don't really communicate with each other. So the tax office cannot really use the system of the trade license office. The trade license office cannot really access the system of the social security. Social security cannot really communicate with the MOI system. So it's like very ineffective. And this seems to me like the first step towards everything being under same provider, being under same kind of like IT system, and being able to actually make the electronic communication and electronic like systems effective. And that would be a great change. So let's see what will happen in the next weeks or months, but this is actually something good. So just give it a few more days, few more weeks. Now the FRS website is completely down. It's not working at all. I checked right before the live stream. So probably there is some bug, and maybe this function will be fixed with that as well. So that was change number 1. Change number 2 is actually pretty big, and so we are preparing something bigger for you as well, and that's all the tax related changes, because there have been many changes in the tax laws, starting from different VAT rates, different tax rates, different social security healthcare rates. So for example, for all freelancers watching, you should start paying higher social security and higher healthcare from this month already, from January, not from when you do your taxes, so say in March or sometimes even later, as it was all the previous years, but you should start paying higher, and that's pretty significantly higher. If you just pay the minimum monthly payments, the base payments, that's a pretty significant increase, because let's say the social security was 2,800 something last year, or like around 2,900. Now it's 3,800 something. So it's almost like 900 crowns increase, which would be, I don't know, 30% increase or something, 25. So that's pretty significant. You have to pay that from January on. But there are many changes like that, and that will affect basically everyone. So we're preparing something bigger with our accountant, and we will do, most likely I will do a live stream about that as well, but we will mainly do a big ass newsletter where we'll describe all these changes, and we'll go one by one, and the ones that will most affect you as foreigners living in the Czech Republic, because it's been like a huge thing in the Czech Republic that they are changing all these tax laws. We've been waiting for that for years. So now it finally happened, and we'll see how it will affect lives of everyone. So that's second change. Then another kind of funny thing is that the stamps, the revenue stamps, kolky, which you use to pay at the Ministry of the Interior or at the Foreign Police or at other authorities like the courts and other places. So then they will be no longer used or produced. So they can still be used now, but the production has been stopped. So they are no longer printed more. So as soon as the post office sells the last stamp, they will not be used anymore. We'll see again how the authorities will react to that, because it doesn't really seem that they have, some of them yes, some of the tax offices, for example, when we apply for the proofs of no debts for our clients, some of the tax offices mainly outside of Prague is already like ask us if we still use the stamps, or if we don't want to pay by transfer, for example. So somewhere the changes are already like being noticed and being like included in the internal processes, but not everywhere. So we will see when the post office actually sells the last stamp. We'll see if all the authorities will be ready for that. Let's see, that will probably happen like half a year from now, because they've printed like a lot of those, so it will not like finish tomorrow, but in a couple weeks, a couple months, probably we'll be getting to the end. At some post offices, they might not have stock anymore. Another thing is related to tax office only and freelancers, because there is a kind of very weird change also coming with these new tax laws, and that is that when you start your freelancing, you no longer need to get registered with the tax office. They no longer do that. Some of the tax offices actually stopped doing that even last year. So when we went there and said, okay, we have this new client, a new freelancer, we just got him or her the trade license, we want to register them. They said, well, we can register them, but we will cancel the registration anyway on the 1st of January, because this will no longer be necessary. So what do you want to do? So basically from now on, tax offices will not register you. So you will not get a tax number when you get your trade license. You will get it somewhere in the future. No one really knows when, how, and why, and what you will be doing in the meanwhile if you need the tax number for something. But probably that's not anyone's problem at this point. So they say that when you need to do your tax return, so a year from now, or whenever like you got your trade license, so when you need to get your first tax return done, then they will issue the tax number. But how it will really work if they need to deal with tax returns, and that always takes like a very long time. And now they will also need to start getting the numbers first before they can even get to your tax return, or maybe you will need to get it first before you can even submit the tax return. In that case, it doesn't really make sense to to cancel the registration in the first place, but we'll see. That's one of the things we will hopefully cover in the newsletter we'll be sending out towards the end of January, because that's one of the things we're trying to figure out now, what exactly to do. Because we don't want to send you just a newsletter saying, okay, this happened, but we want to see kind of a bit more like how it really works in real life and what we should actually do to give you some advice, not just to give you an information that happened, as I'm doing now, but we want to give you also some kind of info what to do about it, or how to approach the situation, and what impact it will have into your life. So watch out for our newsletter. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. And let's see if there is anything else I prepared. I don't think so. These have been quite significant changes anyway. So the FRS system not letting you check the status of your application outside of the Czech Republic, and now actually not being usable at all. Second, all the tax changes happening. Third, all the other websites changing, like the tax also, but the trade license register and the business register changing as well, which is connected to the FRS, and that might actually end up in something good. And then Kolky, the revenue stamps not being issued anymore. So at some point, the Ministry of the Interior will need to start accept real money or cards. We'll see, because no one knew when I asked about that last time. No one really knew about anything, but of course the people who deal with that, the last chain of command, they find out about everything as the last one. So we'll see when we get there. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, don't forget, if you're a freelancer, don't forget to start paying higher Social Security and healthcare payments from January on, not from when you do your taxes. And we will cover the taxes deeper first in one of my future videos, and also in a newsletter we'll be sending, and definitely also on our website, movetoprague.com. So guys, thank you very much. And maybe one more thing, we're also baking something, still preparing a big video and interview and other articles about buying a property in the Czech Republic, if you want to get a mortgage or you want to buy it in cash or whatever is the situation. So we are also preparing that with one of our partners. So you have a lot to expect in January. So see you again, guys, on Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Good night.